Hi, welcome back to another video from Jamby Art Studio. Today's video is a little bit different as this is neither a how-to nor a demonstration, but it's more of a kind of real-time recording of a painting process. My mom had a commission for a large 3-foot by 4-foot painting in acrylic pours in a particular style that we've just called the drizzle pour. And so what you'll be seeing in this video is the full process of us working together on this enormous canvas to make the drizzle pour. She was the main artist behind this. I was acting as assistant to help with tilting and torching and cleanup. But what you're going to see is the process of us layering, drizzling, tilting, and torching until we get the final result. This is kind of a galactic space kind of nebula effect that we were aiming for, and at the end I can say we definitely achieved it. So I hope you enjoy the process. Again, please check the description for the exact specifics of the mixtures and enjoy. So the reason that we torch the painting, and you'll see us using the blowtorch multiple times throughout this process, but the reason that you do that is because your paint, as it is being mixed, and then as it is settling, it gets air bubbles trapped in the paint mixture. And normally this isn't much of an issue, but what happens as the acrylic paint begins to dry is it becomes stiff and impliable, and those air bubbles eventually pop. But whenever they pop on their own naturally, they pop once the paint has lost its fluidity, and it will leave the surface of the painting pockmarked. To avoid this happening, you have to use a handheld torch to gently heat the surface of the paint enough to release the air bubbles, but not so much that it scorches your paint. This white mixture that you see us dipping into and swiping with is a mixture of 1 part titanium white paint and 10 parts of standard Floetrol. If you have access to Australian Floetrol, you can do similar. I believe that'd be 1 part paint and only 3 or 4 parts of Floetrol. But this would be our cheaper Australian Floetrol replacement. And a couple of things to keep in mind when you're trying to use this is go slow. The slower you swipe, the better results you will get. And make sure that you clean your palette knife after each swipe before you begin again, so that you're not swiping more color where you may not want it. Whenever you go to do an acrylic pour painting, you can always decide at the onset whether you want the edges of your canvas or wood panel to be coated in the paint when you're finished, or whether you want it to remain bare and unpainted. You need to decide this at the very beginning though, because if you do not want to paint the edges, you'll need to take them off. In this case, we decided we wanted the edges to be painted, or rather the client that commissioned the piece wanted the edges to be painted. So once we had the surface well covered with paint and we're ready to tilt out the design, we tilted it and allowed the paint to run over each of the edges, covering them most of the way. And then towards the end of the video, and even after it dried, we came back in and touched up the edges with some remaining paint to make sure we had a nice even coat along all the edges. is the finished, varnished, and temporarily mounted result. Came out very nice. You can kind of see here some of the iridescence coming into play, especially the iridescent turquoise, and in the background the iridescent blue-black. Really shows up nicely. The lacing she achieved with the swiping is also really cool. We varnished it with a varnish finish from Gamblin that is used for both oil and acrylics. I like it better than a spray can varnish. And it leaves it with this nice kind of glossy finish. But yep, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.